I forgot to do a video about the Defember Challenge 1, page tab and moth-eaten lace. So I have made several page tabs with the moth-eaten lace. And this is hemp paper. And I used a couple film strips from a 1940s album that some poor soul was throwing away their daddy's albums from 1940 from the war. I mean, it's like 5 of them. Letters, all kinds of things in it. So this one also is a picture of him with his gun, and evidently a child of theirs. So these tabs I can put right into a journal, and they'd sticking out on the side. I maybe should have made them facing the other direction. It's probably a good idea. So I used manila folders. I got a whole bunch of manila folders from the thrift store, and they were brand new. So I've been using them in the background when I do spray oxide. I will put this behind it as I spray. And it's interesting the different designs you can get. If I don't get a good design, I will actually lay lace or something down and then spray again. But then I get to use this in a project. This is a little short one. And then the other one was just moth-eaten lace, so I made some like Barbara did. And I would actually call these clusters, where you stack different ephemera papers together. And little tidbits of stuff. I would call it oh, what did I just say it was called? Anyway, clusters. They're not really a page tab. And even though it's supposed to use the moth-eaten lace on it, it still is a cluster. Anyway, I have my journal here, my nature journal that I'm putting some of the challenges in. There's, 20 challenges, but my book is 230 pages. So I've already made a pocket for this to go in the front. And I added a couple of the clusters and a page tab here on the top of this, page tab here. This was the floating pocket, another floating pocket here. And I made this one with a pocket behind it also. That was one of those challenges, floating pocket and bold numbers. Oh, and this is a moth-eaten lace that's actually a little moth. So little wings are loose on it. And I know Barbara did this circle thing. I've done this before, and I've used 3 sheets of paper, or this one is 2. This one's 3 sheets, and then the backing sheet. And so when I put the 3 together, I sew first around it, then cut the hole and start peeling everything back. And so you end up, the first page is writing, typed words. The second page is music. And so when you peel it back, your words is the first level, and then your music is the second level. And then I go back around and sew again. And then added my decorations and then the stencil. And this one being 3 pages. The first one was music sheets. The second one was a word page. And then the third one was the newspaper of the crossword puzzle. And so when you fold them out, you end up with a crossword puzzle on the top. Yeah, it's crossword puzzle. And this one has a pocket here. Where's my little plastic? There it is. With a plastic sewn here. And then when I added a back onto it, I just folded this over and made a pocket for the back also. So let me see what else I had in here. Oh, this was a floating pocket. And I have these books that I was using to add ephemera into. It's an old Reader's Digest condensed book. And so you just fold back pages and glue them and make pockets. And I soon found out this was not near big enough to deal with. And so then I ended up making much larger ones. This one here was a really large book, Flowering Trees of the World, I think it said. And so when you fold these pages back, you can get really nice pockets in here. And so I've got tabs on all of these for flowers, insects, and dragonflies. And so it's got all kinds of ephemera that I've made and put in here. This was a phenology wheel that didn't turn out right, so I cut it apart and just saved sections of that. And these are distress oxide and a script stamp, rubber stamp, and then I drew a flower on it. So I've got a bunch of those kind of things where I've done watercolor, and then a lot of specimen cards, pine needles and moss. Hard to see the reflection. Moss and firebush and fern. Spray oxide and a stencil with a brick design. And then I put a stencil inside, a window inside, and a pocket. So this one's full of all kinds of things that I can add. This was one I just did too. It's pokeberry ink that I made, and it's just squashing the pokeberries and getting all the juice out and straining it. And then you add some kind of alcohol. I think it was whiskey I added. And then this is dried pokeberry that's left over after I pulled the berries off. And so I just made a specimen card there for it. That's several of those. And this was old art from somebody else that was throwing it away. So I recycled that. See the difference in trying to use your watercolors as part of the pokeberry and the pokeberry color. Turned out really pretty pink. I might want to dye some paper with that later this summer. Well, when summer comes. Oh, and of course the snake skin and a turtle shell. Oh, I like this one a lot. The moth stamp, it's a rubber stamp, silicone ones. Turned out real nice. They're just clear, and you put them on a plate. So you then, those stamps were really fine stamps. So anyway, that's what these are. Just bunches of pictures, and I kind of coordinated my colors of the watercolors in with the book itself. A lot of little insects, little characters. And I added some bedazzling gems onto them. So they got sparkle. Anyway, back to the other book. The journal I'm making to add samples of each one of the challenges I'll add into this book. But then it will become my nature journal. My other nature journal I just filled up. So that was the page turned back on that in this thing. And when I just quit using it and never did anything with them. So I tore one of the pages out, added some coffee stain to it, and script stamp, and a stamp there, and a stencil. Put a fairy card inside. Added a big letter. And numbers. And then all the little skinny scraps I've taken, cut and laced with them. So I've already got some pockets, but then these pages will be decorated more once I start doing the nature stuff in here. And that was the postcard challenge, yesterday's challenge. I haven't done today's yet. Postcard, and then I made a giant stamp, which is my logo for in my journals. I put it at the front of the journal, and I put a little sheet inside that says how to use the journals, which is what's inside this journal that I just finished. Well, I'm not quite done. I got some things I want to do to it. It's a light up. Where's the light? Little lightning bugs in the front, and it's a starry night kind of vibe to it. And that's spray oxide, but what I took was a yellow, sprayed yellow first, then took and put candle wax. I just broke a piece of plain clear candle wax and drew on it, and then sprayed the blue, so wherever the wax was at, the oxide spray didn't stick. And this one I added some of my page tabs in here with charms on them. There's one here. So this journal is mostly in blues, so the charms have some blue on it. Here was a short little tab, and I added acrylic skin. And what it is your paint palette. If you have the Teflon type of paint palette where the paint peels off, you put your paint on there, and while you're painting, or add design or whatever you want to do, and let it dry, and then you peel it off. And so I took a little scrap of it and put it here. So that's that journal. I've just got to finish still. So I think that's it. Just showing you mostly blank pages, hand-dyed, envelope flip-outs, another page tab. Because this is going to be my nature journal, I keep track of my chickens. So this is chicken log from my other nature journal. Whenever I have a hen hatch out some babies, I make note of it. Or if I buy some chickens, I make note of the breed and when I got them. So there's just all kinds of envelopes and pages, a lot of brown paper bags. I love having brown paper bags. This will probably become a pocket eventually. And this is faux rice paper. Really like making that too. A little file folder. Recycled envelopes that I've covered over. Some of that pokeberry die. Probably add more to it, or who knows what I'll do to it at the time when I start working on it. So that's that journal. I've wanted to use some burlap. I have a friend that has a coffee shop, and she's given me a lot of burlap, and I never could figure out what to use it for, and so I actually used it for this journal. This is the bottom of the bag where they lashed it together, and I think Ecuador. So that's challenge, what did I say it was? Challenge number 1? Yeah, page tab, moth-eaten lace. Now I'll get busy with challenge number 5, journaling card and tiny letters.